Have you ever wondered if your thoughts shape your reality? What if I told you that everything you perceive is actually responding to you? This isn't just spiritual fluff. It's the quantum truth that can transform your life. Most people live unaware, thinking they're merely reacting to the world around them. But what if I showed you how to manipulate your energy to create quantum events in your reality? Let's dive in the idea that your inner state shapes your outer world. May sound abstract at first, but it's a concept rooted in both ancient spiritual traditions and emerging scientific perspectives. The world around you is not a rigid, predetermined structure. Instead, it functions more like a dynamic mirror, constantly adjusting and reshaping itself based on the signals you're broadcasting through your thoughts, emotions, and vibrational energy. This means that what you see in your life, your relationships, opportunities, obstacles, and even coincidences, is a reflection of the energy you consistently hold within yourself. Your energy is composed of many layers: your emotional frequency, the consistency of your thoughts, your belief systems, and the depth of your subconscious programming. These layers form a sort of energetic broadcast that goes out into the quantum field, a field of infinite potential that responds not to your desires or words, but to your state of being. This is why people who feel consistently grateful tend to attract more things to be grateful for, while those who dwell in fear and lack often experience more of the same. It's not punishment or reward, it's resonance. Resonance is the fundamental principle at work here. Just like tuning forks that vibrate in harmony when one is struck, your energy field resonates with similar frequencies in the environment. This is where the idea of like attracts like comes into play, not in a superficial sense, but in a deeply energetic one. When you are in a state of fear, stress, or lack, you resonate with situations, people, and outcomes that match that frequency. Conversely, when you shift into states of peace, empowerment, and clarity, your environment begins to reflect that change. This dynamic has been discussed for centuries in various forms. In Hermetic teachings, this is summarized by the principle of as within, so without. In modern quantum thought, it's often linked to the observer effect, the idea that the act of observation influences the behavior of particles. While the observer effect is frequently misunderstood, it hints at a truth consciousness is not passive. It's a participant in shaping outcomes at the most fundamental level. The state you maintain over time has a cumulative effect. Your daily thoughts and emotions generate a kind of energetic momentum. One positive thought might not change your world overnight, but consistent alignment with a higher energetic state creates noticeable shifts. This is why practices such as meditation, breathwork, and conscious emotional regulation are powerful. Not because they change reality directly, but because they shift your relationship to reality, which in turn changes the external circumstances. Most people try to manipulate the external world directly, through effort, control, or force, without realizing that true power lies in the invisible. It's not about denying action, but understanding that aligned action, taken from a centered energetic state, is far more effective than chaotic, fear-driven motion. You become more magnetic, more intuitive, and more able to perceive opportunities when your internal state is balanced and coherent. There is also a feedback loop at play. When you shift your energy and begin to see small changes in your reality, your belief system starts to adjust. This creates more energetic coherence, which amplifies the results even further. It's like tuning into a radio station. The clearer your signal, the more accurate and consistent the reception. If your energy is scattered or conflicted, the signal gets fuzzy, and so does the reality you create. Importantly, this principle doesn't mean you are to blame for everything that happens in your life, especially events outside your conscious control. But it does mean that you have far more influence over your personal reality than most people realize. Your energy is not just an internal phenomenon. It is an active participant in the creation of your lived experience. By taking ownership of your state of being, you begin to engage with life not as a victim of circumstance, but as a co-creator with the universe. The concept of quantum probabilities offers a radical yet deeply empowering way to understand how your reality unfolds. Unlike the deterministic worldview that suggests everything is fixed and predictable, quantum mechanics shows us that at the most fundamental level, reality is probabilistic. Subatomic particles, which form the foundation of all physical matter, do not exist in one definite state until observed. Instead, they exist in a cloud of potential states, what is known as a superposition. When observed or measured, the particle's wave function collapses, and one outcome materializes from a range of probabilities. This isn't just a theoretical concept in physics. It's a profound metaphor for human experience and manifestation. If reality is shaped by probability and observation at the smallest scales, it suggests that outcomes in your life are not rigidly predetermined. Instead, you are constantly navigating a sea of infinite possibilities, and your internal energy acts as a kind of selector or tuner. Your dominant thoughts, emotional patterns, beliefs, and intentions act as filters through which certain potentialities become more likely to manifest than others. You're not collapsing particles in a lab, but you are influencing which life's scenarios move from potential to actuality through the energy you emit. In this quantum framework, the future is not something that simply happens to you. It's a spectrum of potential events, each with its own probability curve. This is a critical shift in perspective. Instead of assuming that events are predestined or beyond your influence, you begin to understand that your vibrational state, composed of your emotions, expectations, and mental clarity, affects which timelines and outcomes rise to the surface of your experience. Think of it like a cosmic algorithm that takes your energy input and computes the most resonant result. This means that small, seemingly insignificant shifts in your inner world can lead to dramatically different life paths. A single decision made from love rather than fear, or a day spent in alignment rather than resistance, can begin to push you toward a reality that was previously improbable. Over time, these shifts accumulate. They rewire your expectations, and those expectations influence the energy you carry, which in turn reshapes the landscape of probability. It becomes a self-reinforcing feedback loop of creation. Quantum probability also explains why affirmations and visualization techniques sometimes appear to work and other times do not. If you are repeating positive phrases but still vibrating at the level of doubt, fear, or lack, the energetic mismatch makes it unlikely that your desired reality will collapse into form. On the other hand, when your beliefs, emotions, and inner state are all congruent with a specific outcome, you increase the likelihood of that outcome manifesting. It's not magic. It's alignment with the field of probability. Understanding this principle is both liberating and humbling. It liberates you from the idea that you're stuck in a fixed trajectory or limited by past experiences. The quantum model suggests that at any given moment, a new reality is within reach, one that operates under different rules, relationships, and opportunities. All it requires is an energetic shift that aligns with that new timeline. At the same time, it's humbling because it places responsibility squarely on your internal state, not on external circumstances. You can't manipulate outcomes without adjusting your energy. You can't consistently attract peace while operating from chaos. The probabilities shift only when the signal changes. This perspective also helps explain the phenomenon of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that feel like cosmic nudges. When you're aligned with a certain outcome, you start to notice signs, connections, and opportunities that you would have overlooked otherwise. These are not random. They are evidence that your internal frequency is influencing the quantum field in ways that increase the likelihood of aligned outcomes. What once seemed like luck becomes recognizable as the product of subtle, energetic coherence between your inner world and the external matrix of possibilities. Living in a probabilistic universe doesn't mean everything is uncertain or unstable. It means everything is open to influence. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to become the version of yourself that is naturally matched with the outcomes you desire. Just as particles respond to observation, life responds to consciousness. And when consciousness is directed with clarity, intention, and coherence, the field of quantum probabilities begins to bend in your favor, selecting outcomes that reflect who you are being in the present moment. Your energy field is not a passive byproduct of your biology. It is an active, living template that continuously communicates with the fabric of reality. This field, often referred to in spiritual traditions as the aura or subtle body, and in modern science as an electromagnetic field, surrounds and permeates you at all times. It contains the encoded information of your beliefs, emotions, intentions, unresolved traumas, desires, and vibrational frequency. Reality, then, doesn't merely unfold based on what you say or want. It reacts to the silent signals embedded in your energy blueprint. Imagine your energy field as a kind of operating system that runs beneath the surface of your everyday actions and words. While you may be outwardly attempting to achieve goals or maintain certain relationships, it is your energy that actually dictates the outcomes. The people you attract, the timing of opportunities, the recurrence of certain life patterns, these are all reflections of the data stored in your energetic field. You are essentially projecting a multidimensional code into the quantum field, and reality responds to it in real time. This interaction is not metaphorical, it is vibrational. Just as a radio antenna picks up signals based on its frequency, your personal energy field tunes you into experiences that match your energetic output. When you are in a low state, filled with fear, resentment, or confusion, your field emits a signal that calls in experiences to match that frequency. You may find yourself in confrontations experiencing delays or repeating unwanted cycles. On the other hand, when your field is clear, coherent, and aligned with gratitude, clarity, and intention, the world around you seems to flow more harmoniously. Situations align, people support you, and things just work out, without much strain. What makes this concept even more powerful is the real-time nature of the response. The quantum field, the invisible matrix of potential that surrounds all life, does not wait for delayed cause and effect. It reflects your internal state immediately and continuously, even before physical changes become visible. This is why you can sometimes feel a shift in the atmosphere or receive instant feedback from the environment when you change your emotional state. You might walk into a room and feel the energy change when someone enters, or sense when someone is inauthentic, even if they say all the right words. These are examples of your energy blueprint interacting with others in subtle, non-verbal ways that influence how events unfold. Your energy blueprint also holds imprints of the past. Unprocessed emotions, subconscious beliefs, and unresolved trauma can distort the signal your field emits, creating noise in your broadcast. These distortions can lead to self-sabotage or repetitive patterns that seem impossible to break. You might consciously desire love, abundance, or freedom, but if your energy field is still echoing fear, shame, or lack, your lived experience will reflect that contradiction. This is why internal healing and emotional integration are not just therapeutic. They are essential for reshaping your reality. Working with your energy blueprint means becoming intentional about what you carry in your field. This involves deepening self-awareness, cleansing emotional blockages, and becoming radically honest about your true beliefs and intentions. Practices like breathwork, meditation, energy healing, visualization, journaling, and even somatic movement all help to recalibrate your field. As you refine your energetic signature, you change the blueprint that reality uses to interact with you. You shift from being a passive receiver of external conditions to an active conductor of your personal frequency. This shift in perspective transforms how you approach personal development, relationships, and goal setting. Instead of trying to force change through willpower alone, you begin to recognize that sustainable transformation happens at the energetic level first. You become the version of yourself who naturally aligns with a higher timeline, not by chasing outcomes, but by updating the internal code that draws those outcomes to you. You become the architect of your experiences through the ongoing calibration of your field. Every thought you think, emotion you feel, and belief you hold is either strengthening or distorting your energy blueprint. The more coherence you bring into your internal system, the more clear and powerful your signal becomes. And the clearer your signal, the more seamlessly reality molds itself to reflect that version of you. Accessing higher versions of your life is not about superficial techniques or external tricks. It is about becoming energetically congruent with the version of yourself who naturally exists in that elevated reality. You cannot deceive the energetic field with empty affirmations or mask your true emotional state with forced positivity. The quantum realm does not respond to what you pretend to feel or think. It responds to your authentic frequency. This is why authenticity is key. If your internal world is misaligned with the reality you wish to experience, the field will mirror that misalignment no matter how convincingly you act on the surface. There is a difference between performing a frequency and embodying it. Performing is when you try to act happy, successful, confident, or loving in hopes of attracting something you do not genuinely believe is yours. Embodying, on the other hand, is when you become the emotional and energetic state of that desired version of you without needing to see immediate results. Embodiment involves deep inner shifts, rewiring belief systems, healing unresolved trauma, and creating emotional coherence. When you embody a new state of being, it becomes your energetic default, and the external world is compelled to reflect that change through new people, circumstances, and opportunities. Authenticity does not mean perfection, it means honesty. If you are sad, denying that sadness only intensifies the incoherence in your field. If you want abundance but are constantly worrying about money, pretending to feel wealthy while radiating anxiety only creates a distorted signal. The quantum field is not tricked by appearances, it responds to vibrational truth. This is why shadow work, facing your fears, insecurities, and suppressed emotions, is so crucial. When you bring unconscious patterns into the light, you dissolve the internal contradictions that block energetic alignment. To embody higher timelines, you must begin to live from the inside out. This means letting go of the need for external validation before you allow yourself to feel a certain way. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for something to happen before they feel worthy, loved, secure, or successful. But in the quantum model, reality doesn't give you something so you can feel it. It responds to you feeling it first. If you wait for success to feel confident, you'll keep postponing both. But if you generate the feeling of confidence from within, success becomes magnetized to your new frequency. The emotional state must come first because it is what instructs the field to reflect a matching outcome. This principle also reveals why intention is more powerful when paired with genuine feeling. Simply saying, "I want this," is not enough. Wanting often carries the energy of lack. But if you fully believe and feel that you are already aligned with the reality you seek, if you live as if it is inevitable, not merely possible, then the field responds to that certainty. This is not about delusion or fantasy. It's about energetically stepping into the identity of the person who lives in that reality. That identity has different thoughts, different emotional responses, and different habits. You must become that version now, not someday. This level of authenticity requires courage. It means being willing to release identities, relationships, and routines that were built around your past vibration. It means saying no to what no longer serves your evolution, even if it's familiar or socially accepted. The journey of embodiment is often uncomfortable because it calls you to outgrow the version of yourself that was aligned with an old, limiting timeline. But every choice you make from your true self strengthens your field, sharpens your resonance, and pulls you deeper into the reality that matches your new frequency. There is a kind of energetic integrity that emerges when your internal world aligns with your external expression. You speak, act, and create from a place of inner coherence rather than from fear or pretense. In this state, manifestation is no longer about striving. It becomes a natural extension of who you are being. You attract people who match your authenticity, opportunities that resonate with your true essence, and experiences that reflect your embodied state of clarity and wholeness. Moments of flow and synchronicity are not accidents or happy coincidences. They are profound indicators that you are in resonance with your true self and the timeline that matches your highest potential. When everything seems to fall into place effortlessly, when time seems to slow down or speed up in just the right way, when you meet the right person at the perfect moment, or stumble upon the exact piece of information you needed, these are not random events. These are signs that your internal energy is in alignment with the larger field of life, and that you have become a clear channel through which higher order possibilities can unfold. Flow states are characterized by ease, clarity, focus, and a sense of timeless presence. In these states, you are not striving or forcing outcomes. Instead, you are moving in harmony with something much larger than your individual mind, a kind of universal intelligence that organizes reality based on vibrational congruence. You are neither lagging behind nor trying to race ahead. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do, without resistance. This is not a passive state of inaction. It is a highly dynamic yet effortless mode of being where your energy is fully aligned with the moment, and therefore, with the optimal unfolding of events. When you are in alignment, your thoughts, emotions, and actions are synchronized. There is no inner conflict, no contradiction between your desires and your beliefs, no resistance between what you want and what you feel you deserve. This internal coherence creates a magnetic field around you that influences your environment in real time. People sense this clarity. Circumstances reorganize to support you. It feels as if the universe is collaborating with you, not because it suddenly decided to favor you, but because you've become a vibrational match to the version of reality where support, synchronicity, and success are the norm. Alignment is not about controlling every detail of life. It's about aligning your frequency with a deeper rhythm that is always available, but often obscured by doubt, fear, or overthinking. When you're out of alignment, things feel heavy, forced, delayed, or chaotic. You might try to push forward, but your efforts yield little fruit. You may take all the right external steps, but nothing seems to click. This is because your energy is fragmented. Your focus may be split. Your beliefs may be rooted in scarcity, or your emotional state may be at odds with your goals. In such cases, the solution is not more effort, but recalibration. Restoring your inner alignment so that you can re-enter the flow. One of the most revealing aspects of flow is how naturally it emerges when you are living from authenticity. When you are not pretending to be someone you're not. When you're not chasing goals imposed by society or ego, but instead following your true curiosity, passion, and joy, flow becomes frequent. It shows up as effortless productivity, meaningful relationships, intuitive clarity, and a sense of being guided. The more often you prioritize this state, not by forcing it, but by aligning your energy, the more you stabilize it as your new normal. Life stops feeling like an uphill battle and starts feeling like a co-creative dance. The presence of flow also amplifies your ability to make intuitive decisions. In a state of alignment, your nervous system is regulated, your mind is clear, and your heart is open. You don't second-guess yourself constantly or fall into paralysis by analysis. You simply know. You act from that knowing without hesitation, because the signal is clean and the noise is minimal. This intuitive clarity is a product of your energetic alignment with your higher self, or what some call the soul frequency. It's not about figuring things out mentally. It's about sensing what's true energetically and trusting it enough to move in that direction. It's important to understand that flow is not a peak moment reserved for rare occasions. It is a baseline state you can cultivate. It begins with inner alignment, aligning your thoughts with your values, your emotions with your intentions, and your actions with your intuition. As this alignment stabilizes, flow becomes less of a special event and more of a natural rhythm. You begin to recognize the signs of being on path not by dramatic external confirmations, but by the subtle but unmistakable feeling of ease, grace, and synchronicity that accompanies everything you do. In a world governed not by fixed outcomes, but by infinite probabilities, your inner state becomes the most powerful tool for shaping your external reality. You are not a passive observer of life, but a dynamic participant whose energy blueprint communicates directly with the quantum field. Every thought, emotion, belief, and intention sends out a frequency that selects and shapes the timeline you experience. Authentic embodiment of your desired self, not performance or forced positivity, is the gateway to activating new realities. Your ability to collapse potential into form depends entirely on how aligned you are with the emotional and energetic signature of the life you seek. Flow states, synchronicities, and effortless manifestations are not anomalies. They are confirmations that you are in tune with the deeper rhythm of existence. When you fully understand that your energy is the command center of your reality, you stop trying to manipulate the world from the outside in and instead master it from the inside out.